Alright, so today we're doing some mobile water supply training here at Happy Valley. We're going to be using tanker 1 and tanker 2 and engine 2 along with the brush truck. Things that we're going to be covering is some of the new equipment that's come in recently, which is going to be the low level jet siphon, the low level jet siphon or siphon, barrel strainers, and the floating pump as well. We've already pre-set up some items right now, and you can see the guys working behind us. Is that we have both tanks set up, both drop tanks from tanker 1 and tanker 2. So as we come on over here, let's first show you the basic setup. Now this is going to take some time to set up. When we first start off, we have the low level jet siphon in tank number 2 here. This is our 2,500 gallon tank. That's hooked up to our 5-inch hard suction. The 5-inch hard suction will supply our primary tank, or tank 1, which is our 3,000 gallon water tank, where we're conducting our draft out of. So as our evolution continues, we're going to be, or as we start off our evolution, engine 2 is going to be simulated that it's a structure fire, hay fire, barn fire, just any number of types of calls that it could possibly be at. So we're using the deck gun to go on ahead and throw water out into the field here. You could also have multiple lines out if need be. You're only inhibited by your pump capacity of your truck. So this truck here is 1,000 GPM, so that's about the best that we could probably put out is 1,000 GPM and probably no more. So we're using the deck gun to shoot water out, like I told you, and we'll be using that to draft as well. Okay, so we've hooked up our 1 3/4 line. That 1 3/4 feeder line is coming from our engine, our primary engine. You can almost say it's a wasteful line in the sense that it's not doing any firefighting. All it's doing is moving water from tank 2 to tank 1. If we had a third tank with the number of low-level jet siphons we have, we could actually move tank to tank to tank to tank, so forth and so on. We're only limited by the amount of water movement devices. Let's come over here now.
I ain't gonna give you no room.
All right. Any questions up to this point? Kind of see where. Kind of see that. Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead. All right. So we're ready to go ahead and start our dumping process. We're going to go ahead and start dumping water into our primary tank, which is our 3,000 gallon tank. We'll allow this tank to flow or to fill up. Now, problems that you might run into, like right now, we're at an incline. So are we going to get the maximum effectiveness of all 3,000 gallons? Most likely not, because of the incline of the water. The way the incline of the water is. So if you look at it, we set up all our stuff though towards that incline. So we want as much as we can our strainers down at the lower side of the tank. Could we add another 5-inch? Yes, but due to the lack of personnel today, we're just going to do the one hard suction with the 4 personnel that we have here on site today. So we're going to allow that to go ahead and fill up, and then tanker 2 will come in shortly and fill up the second tank. As we start to throw water or discharge water, you'll start to see the water transfer come over and how that process works. So some key factors that you need to be aware of with suctioning. Anytime you're going to draft, whether it's from a porta tank, whether it's from a standing water source, a lake, river, whatever the case is, air is your enemy. Air is your enemy, and any leaks that you have are going to prevent you from getting that draft. So right here are often seals, O-rings might be corroded, and you might not get that airtight seal that you have. Same thing, if we had a second hose hooked up here, you have that joint where that connection is, you'd also run into problems where you might not have an airtight seal. We want an airtight seal around our jet siphon or around our strainer as well. whether it's a low-level strainer, whether it's a barrel strainer, we want an airtight seal. Air is truly the enemy here, okay? When we attach this 5-inch, this is the 5-inch that came off the top of the rig. Both engine 1 and engine 2 have their own 5-inch, along with tanker have their own 5-inch, and tanker 2 is does not have 5-inch, but rather 4.5-inch line. Okay, and that's important because as we're moving equipment around, we're realizing that all 4.5-inch couplings and a hose needs to be placed on tanker 2. None of the other trucks will accept 4.5. All right, so now let's take a look at tanker 2 as it starts its dump process.
That's a whole bunch of rice.
start our process. Some of the equipment that we have, the heart section that's located on engine 2 isn't the pliable one compared to what's on engine 3. It offers both an advantage and a disadvantage. These harder suction hoses are are less susceptible to tears and rips compared to the softer hard suction on engine 3, tanker 1. An advantage that I like to those that they're somewhat clear, or they're clear and you can actually see the water coming up when you pull your draft. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start to pull our draft. So stand by for that. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull our climb. That's going to allow us to go off the climb no more than 30 seconds. Okay? So count it out if you have to. So, as an engineer, you're going to need to determine how much water can actually supply based on the comfort, how many lines out, so forth and so on. Now, this nut, when you see that little whirlwind right there? That's what I was waiting on filming. See that whirlwind right there? This is what we need a beach flow. Simple beach flow will allow that the water to come down to that whirlwind part and it acts as a flood. It's like 50-cent damn ball from lightning canister, throw it in there, and it acts as a flood. It's not that air going into the pump. Air is the enemy. If we start getting lower and lower, we start getting bad, more tight. Okay? So, I'm going to stop pumping water, go ahead and reservice the truck, and come back. So, I'll go reset one.